But what we need to talk to Merce about now is what happened at the Emirates today.
The Emirates Stadium was alive with electricity and anticipation as Arsenal welcomed Manchester City in a clash that many had billed as season-defining. The Gunners, under Mikel Arteta, came into the game full of belief and momentum, while Pep Guardiola's men arrived knowing that a win could tilt the Premier League title race back in their favour. It was supposed to be a match that showcased the very best of English football, a tactical chess match, moments of brilliance, and drama at the highest level. Yet instead of footballing quality being the ultimate talking point, it was VAR, once again, that stole the headlines in the most controversial manner possible. For much of the contest, Arsenal held their own against the reigning champions. Their press was disciplined, their backline compact, and their attacking movements caused City problems in ways that very few teams have managed. The North London side looked primed to make a statement in their quest to dethrone Guardiola's juggernaut. But all their effort and control was undone in a single moment of controversy that has now become the subject of widespread outrage and debate across the footballing world. The flashpoint came midway through the second half. City, struggling to break Arsenal down, played a direct ball over the top. The receiving attacker looked visibly ahead of the last Arsenal defender when the pass was made. The assistant referee, curiously, kept his flag down, and the City man slotted the ball into the back of the net. Arsenal players immediately protested, gesturing towards the linesman in disbelief. Supporters inside the Emirates rose to their feet, many expecting VAR to do its job and rule out what was a seemingly obvious offside goal. But what followed was baffling. After a lengthy check, the VAR officials communicated to the referee that the goal should stand. The decision sent shockwaves around the stadium. Television replays showed the attacker clearly ahead of the defensive line. Fans at home, pundits in the studio, and even neutrals online expressed disbelief that such a blatant offside had been overlooked. Instead of correcting an on-field mistake, VAR appeared to compound it, handing Manchester City the lead in the most controversial circumstances imaginable. From that moment, the game swung. Arsenal, who had been composed and confident, suddenly looked rattled. The injustice of the decision weighed heavily on the players, who now found themselves chasing the game instead of controlling it. City, buoyed by their fortuitous goal, began to grow in confidence and dominate possession. By the final whistle, the scoreline tilted in favor of Guardiola's men, but to many, the victory felt tainted, gifted by officials rather than earned through football. The post-match fallout was immediate and fierce. Arsenal supporters flooded social media, calling the decision a robbery and demanding accountability from the Premier League and the officiating body, PMOL. Many questioned the very purpose of VAR, which was introduced to eliminate clear and obvious errors such as offsides. Instead, fans argued, the system has introduced new layers of inconsistency and confusion. The incident sparked trending hashtags such as VAR out, Arsenal robbed, and PGMOL incompetence. Mikel Arteta, who has previously been critical of refereeing decisions, looked visibly frustrated when he faced the media. Choosing his words carefully to avoid sanctions, the Arsenal boss nonetheless made his displeasure known. "We've been told time and again VAR is there to bring clarity and fairness," he said. "Tonight, it only brought confusion. Everyone saw what happened, and yet the goal was allowed to stand. These are the fine margins that decide titles, and it cannot be acceptable at this level." Pundits echoed Arteta's sentiments. Former professionals speaking on post-match panels described the incident as a disgrace and one of the clearest offsides you'll ever see. Some went further, suggesting that VAR is failing the game because the people operating it are still susceptible to the same errors, biases, and misjudgments as referees on the pitch. It's not the technology that's the problem, one pundit remarked. It's how it's being used. And tonight, it was used very badly. This is not the first time Arsenal have found themselves on the wrong side of controversial officiating. Over the past 2 seasons, several key VAR decisions have gone against them in crucial fixtures, sparking debates about consistency and transparency. Arsenal fans, already feeling persecuted by a string of questionable calls, have now added this moment to a growing list of grievances. For a team competing at the top of the table, these decisions carry massive implications not just for single games, but for the entire course of the season. The frustration for Arsenal lies in the fact that they had performed so well up until the controversial goal. Their defensive shape had stifled City's creativity, their midfield had matched the champions stride for stride, and their attacking trio had carved out dangerous opportunities. It was a performance that deserved to be remembered for resilience and quality, not marred by refereeing incompetence. Yet in modern football, even the best tactical plan can be undone not by brilliance from the opponent, but by an error from the officials. Calls for reform have intensified in the wake of the incident. Many argue that VAR conversations between officials should be made public, similar to rugby, where fans and players alike can hear the reasoning behind decisions. Others have called for independent oversight, ensuring that referees and VAR officials are held accountable for mistakes that impact the outcome of games and, by extension, the league table. The Premier League prides itself on being the most competitive league in the world, watched by millions across the globe. But nights like this tarnish its reputation. Instead of discussing the quality of football, fans are once again forced to focus on the inadequacies of the officiating system. For Arsenal supporters, the anger is magnified by the sense that their team has been repeatedly punished by poor officiating at crucial junctures. As the dust settles, one thing is clear: this incident will not be forgotten. Arsenal fans will carry the sense of injustice into future matches, the media will continue to dissect the decision, and rival supporters will debate it endlessly. The bigger question, however, is whether the Premier League and PML will take meaningful steps to address these issues, or whether VAR will continue to sow confusion and controversy week after week. For Arsenal, the battle is not just against their opponents on the pitch, but seemingly against the officials as well. And while Manchester City walked away with the points, the real story of the night was how VAR robbed football of its fairness once again.